Hey, two, check.
Check. Hey, that's good. What are we doing? Like 4 hours? There's a whole YouTube world, just millions of people. It's fascinating.
You what?
I did a YouTube show for the Orlando Fringe Festival during the pandemic when it was like they didn't have an in-person festival. So I was here in Bellingham, but I did this show called A Guy Plays Closing Time for an Hour. And so I just started the feed and played it like I was at an open mic, like, hey, everyone out, I'm gonna play some songs. Here's this first one, and it's like, oh, it's closing time. And I played closing time, and then I just, all right, next song, great, okay, okay, this is a closing time, and I just played closing time for an hour over and over.
Nice.
And like 40 people watched. It was wild, but I kind of in the middle did like an ASMR version. It was pretty fun, but wild times.
Wild, yeah. Yep.
Wild.
You got to make it work.
Yeah, it did.
Speaking of making things work, now tell me what happened to your abdominal region.
Oh, my appendicitis.
Yeah.
Acute appendicitis. And let me tell you, it was not cute. It wasn't cute at all. The tale begins on Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, and I thought I had bad food poisoning. Woke up at like 2 a.m, just, one of those killer, just, something's going on. Mm-hmm. And it felt like the kind of pressure that would go along with, some pretty bad gas and maybe some vomiting, right?
Okay.
And so I just kind of thought that's what it was and tried to move it around. Nothing, I couldn't, usually I can get some gas out or whatever, just by moving around and trying to go to the bathroom, but nothing worked. And so I just went back to sleep and tried to sleep, but the pain got really bad. And then at like 10 or 11 in the morning, I was just like doubled over. Kind of like, this is, so I checked with someone. They're like, well, it might be appendicitis. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that. And talked to a nurse, and they said, you should definitely go get checked out. And this was Sunday at this point, so nothing was open except for the emergency room, essentially. Mm-hmm. And so my brother picked me up and took me down there, and they gave me a CAT scan, did some tests, and said like, yep, your thing that's about to rupture. Let's get that out of you. And then within like 2 hours, I was in surgery.
Wow.
Poke. They send 3, it's like laparoscopic or something. So they send in 3 different tubes. One of them, inflates your stomach with carbon dioxide. And so that they can like move around. So basically just like moves all the organs. So there's space in between. And then they shove one in, another one has a camera, and then the third one has like a tube but it has like blades on it or something. And so they just use the camera and watch and go in and snip.
You're describing Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, essentially. Okay. that
Your
was
doctor was Edward Scissorhands, okay.
Oh, she was amazing. I wish I'd been awake for it. It was a trip though, like getting put under. I don't know if you've gone through massive surgery, but boy, it is not. Oh yeah, nice.
Well,
for
I got 2.
For the listeners, he's holding up a wrist injury.
I've got 2. One was more modern, but this bottom one, just a little tidbit for you, was Doug's dad.
Oh, lovely.
When I was a baby, did that.
He's so violent.
Anyway, Edward Scissorhands.
Dad.
I've been under.
That's funny.
Tell me your experience.
Well, and I'd gone under for my wisdom teeth many, 15, 20 years ago, but I don't know. You never prepared for it. And it's just fascinating. And it's, it was a very professional situation. So I felt safe. And there's 4 people. Wheel in, I've met the surgeon. I met the technician, and the anesthesiologist comes over and introduces themselves. So I meet all these people. And then there's a 4th.
So, that's the person who will kill you.
Oh
the anesthesiologist.
And he was kind of like a dude, bro. And I was sort of like, okay, yeah, I trust you. If anyone's going to be good with like mind-altering substances, yeah, it's like the dude. Bro. I had to get completely naked except for the...
That's not normal.
Yeah. Except for the hospital gown, and then they like wheel me in and throw me on the table, and there's all these lights looking down, and I was like freezing, right? So then they wrap me in warm blankets and put me under, and it's like 10 seconds, and then I wake up back in the prep room. But like the funny thing was it's during the pandemic. I haven't really been dating. I haven't really been like taking care of things down there. But when I came out, like they had shaved my tummy, but then they kept going a little bit. So I was I don't know if it was a Brazilian, but it was pretty close. I just imagine the guy like, get the hedge trimmers.
Get the big ones.
Get the big one. Yeah. Machete, scalpel, check. Machete, check. Weed whacker. So I felt pretty good about it. Thinking about going back for another trim.
It's about time.
All right. Well, good talk.
That's great. Yeah.
All right, see ya.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll just freaking stir it. If you're feeling ready.
Yeah, man. I'm stoked. What do you got, a kombucha? You rocking a booch?
Oh, yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to History's a Joke, bonus episode, a podcast where we deep dive into different stories from history. This week, I am joined by DK. He has not heard the story before, so they will be asking questions along the way and helping me tell this tale to its fullest comedic effect. In today's bonus episode, we will be discussing the first dog in space orbit.
Woo-hoo.
Is that a dog howl?
It was like a wolf. I feel like I started dog and then I sort of went wolf there. I don't know, which I'm hoping that this dog has a little wolf in it.
Well, yeah, that's a good guess.
Closest to the moon, you would assume.
Oh, I wonder if the dog howled. This is a bit of a... Yeah?
Well, yeah, I mean, I already have questions.
Yeah, okay.
Is this Sputnik, yeah?
Very good. Russian... Yes. Very good.
Okay. All right. Boom, point, me.
Yep, 1 point.
Are there...
For those keeping track, DK has 1 point so far.
Nice.
This is a bit of a spin-off of our larger episode on modern Russian history. To briefly set the stage, since this is a history podcast, it's 1957. The U.S. and Russia were about to be in the throes of the great space race. A colder war to the Cold War, if you will allow.
Ooh.
DK?
Like freezing cold?
Yeah, I mean, like, space is, like, cold, things freeze in there, so, like...
No, yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Does that work?
It's good. Right. Yeah. Nice. Chill. It was chill up there.
Chill war? Yeah. What about a chill war to the Cold War?
The chilling Cold War.
A freeze war?
I like freeze or frozen. I mean, it was icy. Those times were icy. There's the Cold War and then there's the icy war. That was great. It was chilling. Then what happened?
Russia was clearly winning from the start. With the launch of Sputnik 1 on October 4th, 1957, the world's first artificial satellite.
Wow. Artificial? Do we have non-artificial satellites?
I mean,
I guess that would...
Shit just orbiting naturally.
That we call that a satellite? All right.
I guess. Yeah, I think so.
I thought it'd be like an asteroid or something, or...
I think it's still referred to as a satellite if it's orbiting a planet smaller, and it's smaller than what you would call a moon.
I trust you. You are a podcast host.
Everybody at me. My handle is... Yeah. What's your handle, DK?
It's at DK Brannemer.
Let him know.
Oh, wait. No.
The first man-made, I guess we would say, artificial, same diff, I guess.
Yeah. We don't know what the dinosaurs were doing before.
Well, we can't count all
They could have shot
exactly.
shot some shit up there.
Sputnik, a 23-inch, 184-pound sphere with 4 antennae, traveled...
Wait, 23 inches?
Yeah, that's all it was.
What? That's like that's not even 2 feet.
Yeah.
That
was it. That was everyone was afraid
sure?
of. 23
Were they
inches.
using inches though? They were aren't they on the metric?
Yeah, I converted.
Oh, did you? And they jammed a dog in there?
No. This is Sputnik 1. Good question. Good clarification
okay.
point.
No dog in the 20. I was like, that is a very tiny dog.
For all those there.
It's like they have to put a motor and like an engine, like a seatbelt for the dog.
This is setting the stage. So Sputnik 1.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're pre-dogs. We're pre-dogs inside of. Okay, so yes, so this is the first one. This is what got everyone riled up. This is what everyone was afraid of, and it was only 23 inches.
I guess size doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? In the end,
it's the speed.
How heavy?
184 pounds.
Damn.
So they packed a lot of shit into.
That's actually about what I weigh. I'm about 180, 185.
If you curl up in a ball, are you 23 inches?
No wonder that girl called me the Sputnik 1 of humans. Well, Sputnik. It's because I'm about the same weight.
Sputnik, a 23-inch, 184-pound sphere with 4 antennae, traveled at a top speed of 18,000 miles per hour, passing around the Earth every 96 minutes.
Damn, that's fast.
Yeah, fast little ball.
96 minutes? It went completely around the Earth.
Yeah.
Man, just think of what, like FedEx could do with that kind of... Hey, yo. These are the jokes, people. Boy, I wish the U.S. Postal Service could take a note from the old Sputnik 1.
Oh, dear. Sputnik traveled in a low elliptical orbit for 3 weeks with batteries, and then another 2 months without, before falling to the Earth and burning up upon re-entry.
Right. What did they do with the batteries? It just dropped them?
No, I think they just ran out.
Oh, yeah. I guess that would make sense.
And then Sputnik was just like, fuck this shit.
The Energizer Bunny just parachutes out. Woohoo! I'm out of here.
Just flying around every 96 minutes.
Yeah. How many times did it go around total?
Oh, you could add it up. 96 minutes for, what did I say?
No.
3 weeks, 2 months, 2 months and 3 weeks. People do the math.
Let's
DK
do that
Reiner
math right now on the podcast.
Let's do it together. We're going to just do it long form.
It might carry the Sputnik.
The apparent massive technological gap between the Soviet Union and the U.S. caused a panic in America, and the Great Space Race began. After the
so much panic. Did we see it? Like, do you know?
Yep. Like, you'd look up and you'd see it. Yep, going around. And
every time the president was like,
every 96 minutes, he's reminded. You could see it, in the evening, And that's kind of the scary thing is every evening people were reminded of this abnormal object in the sky that people hadn't really seen.
And it
was moving fast.
Came from Russia.
And they knew it came from Russia. and
there was a dog in there.
And there was a dog in there, and it was looking down. But people didn't know what the technology was or wasn't. Russia didn't say the limits of Sputnik 1.
Yeah,
for all they knew, they were looking at them.
Yeah, you got to keep it close to your, your cards close there.
Close to your dog. After the phenomenon of Sputnik 1, Nikita Khrushchev, the current Soviet leader, wanted a follow-up to Sputnik that would be even more successful and frightening to the Americans. While Sputnik 1 was still in orbit, engineers delivered a terrific idea in every sense of the word. They proposed a capsule capable of canine orbital flight.
Damn. I just love that. I mean, I don't love it. It's just fascinating that his whole purpose in like pursuing this incredible scientific, endeavor was to bring fear to America.
To stick it to America.
Like, stick it to the man. Says a lot about, people's motivations.
Yeah, ego. A dude's ego.
Baby. Hey,
a dude's tiny dick.
You gotta have the biggest dog up in space.
There had already been 12 suborbital canine space flights, but Soviet engineers hadn't planned on launching a canine orbit until sometime that next year, 1958. After Khrushchev's demand, the canine orbital launch concept was moved to November 3rd, 1957, an anniversary of an important precursor, mini-revolution, to the larger and infamous 1917 revolution, as covered in our Putin episode.
So we better go back and, you should go back and check that out.
Thanks for the half-hearted plug.
You guys should,
hit the brakes on that plug.
We can edit this out, right? Do you think there was ever did a feline space, pod ever get considered?
We'll kind of go into that a little later, but yeah, they did all kinds of animals here. I'll actually just read you a couple here.
So I have to admit, a good friend of mine who does solo shows in Orlando, he's from Orlando. His name is Bruce. He's a wonderful human. And he toured a show called Sputnik. He played the dog, the first dog going up into space. And
that's exactly what we're talking about. You got some history.
This is crazy. He's going to be so excited.
I'll run through them real quick here. Minus the very first one, because I'll leave that a mystery, because we'll talk about it in a minute. 1949. And now, when we say space, we don't mean orbit. What we mean is the technical, scientific definition of space at the time in terms of distance from the land. Or,
a mile
from sea
up.
level in terms of... It would be more than a mile up. Let me see if I could find the number here.
Suborbital.
100 kilometers. Definitions of the boundaries of space.
Damn.
The Air Force's definition at the time was 50 miles, 80 kilometers. The international definition at the time was 100 kilometers. So that's how high up we're going when we're talking space, but that's not, orbit. That's not as far as...
I've jumped off some cliffs into water. They were pretty high. I don't know if they were they were close to suborbital, but there's this bridge in Seattle. It was real high.
1949, the first primate in space. 1950, the first mouse in space.
Yeah.
Mighty Mouse.
Woo!
1951, first dogs in space.
Plural.
1957, first animal in orbit. We are talking about that. 1959, first rabbit in space.
Man.
1961, first ape in space. R.I.P. I've got primate and ape, so that's a little...
You don't know.
We've got a...
Could still be up there. This is like Schrodinger's flying ape. Is it dead or is it alive up there?
Yeah, space junk.
I don't know.
Space junk.
Space junk.
1961, that same year, first guinea pig in space. 1963, first cat in space.
Damn, late to the game with the kitty Mau Mau.
1968, first animals in deep space and to circle the moon. 1970, first frogs. 1973, first fish. 1973, first spiders.
Wow. How do they know that? I mean, there's probably was some spiders on the other ones. They
just on the rocket, on the side of the rocket.
Or, they get up in the corners of your house. It's like there's, probably
how when you're driving,
daddy long legs up there,
and on the side of your window shield, there's a little spider still there hanging on, and you're like, what? You're on the freeway, and you're like, how?
I could see that.
That's
going
sort
up
of
just, at least suborbital. They can fly. Spiders can float in the wind for miles and miles.
Yeah, certain types.
Just
that's the life.
The hang gliders of the insect world.
That's the life, isn't it?
Oh, I'd love that. I'd love to be a spider for that reason. Just jump off a thing, go in the wind.
Suborbital.
Save it for the next podcast.
The first spider to hang glide. Okay, here we go. Oh wait, did I talk about this? No, we got a little piece on there. We got sidetracked with the animals. All right, so the launch is rightly so. So the launch is set for the anniversary of a precursor mini revolution to the larger and infamous 1917 revolution, Russian Revolution. The decision to move the launch was made on October 10th, only 1 week after Sputnik's launch, and leaving only 3 weeks to prepare for the new launch.
Holy crap. That's like not very long. That is like so little time. It takes me 3 weeks to like pack a bag if I'm going vacation for like a weekend. Could you imagine building a rocket ship? This is like from scratch?
I mean, we'll get into it a little bit, but yeah, it was a, pre-laid idea. They were just thinking, let's do it in a couple months. Let's do it next year.
They had one tube.
Yeah.
We've got some metal and a couple tubes. It's Laika.
Yeah.
Yeah, real thick Russian accent.
Laika, a mixed breed female dog, possibly part husky and or terrier.
Little wolf in there.
Little wolf in there. You were right. Wolfhound.
Hey.
Was born sometime in 1954 on the streets of Moscow.
Sounds like a Bruce Springsteen song. On the streets of Moscow, I was born in the alley. I'll stop there. Go ahead.
4 more for the full song at DK Reinheimer on Twitter.
Just a little sample on my Bandcamp single.
At DK Reinheimer Music. Soviet researchers found her wandering the streets, as was common under the assumption that stray dogs were more acclimated to the extreme conditions. Laika weighed 11 pounds and was about 3 years old at the time. Laika, which translates to barker, as in like dog barker,
I mean, that's what I assumed it wasn't Bob Barker from The Price is Right. Named after the late Bob Barker. Yes, he's that old.
Accrued many nicknames while in the space program. I'm going to read them to you. Could you say them back in a Russian accent?
Sure. Little curly, little bug, da little lemon.
2 other dogs were additionally trained for the... Sorry. That's great. 2 other dogs were additionally trained for the Sputnik 2 flight, and it was a rigorous training routine. Over the 3 weeks, the dogs were kept in smaller and smaller pressurized cabins to prepare them for the tiny space capsule and the planned 7-day space journey.
Dang. Like, I can't imagine, so they're just making the container smaller and smaller throughout the day so the dog's more...
Or switching to different types of... it sounds like they had a plethora of different types of mock pressurized cabins that resembled what they... this is also...
Yeah.
They're throwing everything they got into this. The war's over, so they're spending big money.
Bucks on this.
So yeah.
Well, imagine it's just basically curing claustrophobic. I'd be so claustrophobic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone look up photos. It's tiny.
Tiny.
Laika also trained in an acceleration centrifuge, was exposed to rocket launch type sounds, and taught how to eat special high-protein dog space food gel.
Dog space food gel. Oh my god. Wait, so they think they said a 7-day journey. Did they think the dog is going to return? I mean, I'm assuming they didn't at this point.
I don't want to spoil that, but
okay.
It was 7 days, which still seems a little ambitious for a dog inside of a tiny little capsule in space that no one's ever been to before.
But it had the super space dog food.
It had the dog food.
Which was basically just a bunch of Tang, right?
Just the powder.
Just the powder.
No, it was some kind of a gel type gelatinous protein mix
with chicken and fish.
It was probably mostly potatoes.
Wait, is that an offensive Russian stereotype?
I think it is a large part of the diet. I mean, fucking pierogies is potato flour stuffed with potatoes. It's a potato in a potato.
How can we put more? How can we get more potato in this potato? I've got an idea. And then drinking
Side of mashed
potato
potatoes.
vodka.
Yeah. Wash it down with some potato juice.
I love potatoes, honestly. That's one of my comfort foods. But I think that's the Irish in me.
Yeah, it's another kind of potato.
It's a more oppressed potato.
It's an island potato. It's a different vibe.
It's an island potato. They're a little tougher, a little more rebellious.
Laika and the other dogs also had to wear a type of diaper, essentially a bag fitted to their larger space harness. Laika was reportedly the most docile and amenable to the intense space-type conditions. There is also a rumor that Albine, the runner-up, had recently given birth to puppies and Soviet researchers couldn't bring themselves to send the new mom on such a mission.
Oh, man. Nice save. Nice save having a baby.
Yeah.
Like there's a lesson in there.
The eye roll from the other two.
Of course she's pregnant. Sorry, you can't go to space.
No, we're so happy for you.
Yeah, no, can't wait to see all the pictures.
However, shortly before the launch, one of the scientists brought Laika home to play with his family.
Yeah, I remember this part in Bruce's show.
People need to go see the show.
It's so good. It's like beautiful.
What is it called? Do you know?
Sputnik.
Oh, well, that's going to be hard to Google.
Jesus. No, it's called Mutnik.
Oh, yeah.
M-U-T Mutnik.
Perfect. That was the nickname that the press, mostly the American press, gave Laika as it was a play on Sputnik. She was a mutt.
Yeah, he's got a Patreon.
No money. No, we're not talking about other people's money on my podcast.
Yeah.
Laika's mission was grand, to prove animals, human or otherwise, could survive being launched into orbit and the zero gravity that followed.
I think I want to point out that I don't think it was Laika's mission. Laika was probably like, I just want to chill, get thrown balls, eat, like hang out.
Maybe Laika just
I
wanted
do
puppies.
not want to go. Laika clearly did not want to go in that box, suborbital or full orbital.
This is the full orbital.
We've gone full orbital.
You're right. The mission that was thrust upon Laika.
Thank you. God, thank you. Give this dog some dignity, you know?
Laika was standing on the shoulders of many a space-traveling animal, starting in 1947, when a batch of fruit flies caught a ride to the top of the world on a V-2 rocket, confiscated by the Americans from the incredible and horrible Nazi rocket program. So,
wait, they just caught a ride?
Well, I was kind of, using some sort of slang.
They're stowaways.
They were purposefully put onto. Yeah, sorry, I was being maybe a little too casual there with my.
I thought you meant they sort of just like, oh, hey, did you guys notice these fruit flies?
That'd be cool.
We should probably study those.
No, sorry, it was intentional.
They've got little helmets on.
Well, this is great because I wanted to do a little skit. The scientists are American, but I think it'd be funny if the fruit flies were Nazis. 1947. This is a V-2 rocket from the Nazi, V-2 rocket program. This is post-war. But the U.S. has taken all these Nazi scientists and rockets and all this technology and gear and used it to get to the moon because that's what they've been trying to do this whole time.
It was Nazi technology after all these years.
Literally the lead rocket Nazi scientist who made these rockets for the Nazis through the entire war, they just took him and he was the top space rocket scientist. Most Americans know him. They just didn't know that he made rockets that killed Americans for many years and other Europeans before. They said, well, instead of it coming back down to Earth with a ballistic, can it just keep going up? With a fruit fly.
That's an awkward, first date sort of conversation. So what do you do? Well, I make rockets. Oh, do I know any of them? You might know a few. We sent a few over. But not anymore. You're going to play one of the scientists?
No. It's all you.
Oh, I'm going to do all of it. Hey, everybody, this is your captain speaking. We got the rocket loaded up full of fruit flies. We're going to send it off to space. Thanks to the Nazi technology and the rockets. Thank you, Dr. Van Schneegel-Schnitzel. That's Schneegel-Schnitzel. Thank you, Karen. Schneegel-Schnitzel. All right, so go ahead and count down there. 10. Let's skip to 2. 2. 1. Yeah, this is very exciting. We are going to space. Oh, I know. There's so much space fruit up there. I cannot wait to get to the moon bananas. Oh, Hans. I'll miss our fruit fly colony, but up on space we will make a new one. Yeah. And scene.
That's at DK Reinemer.
Patreon.com/DK Reinemer. Oh, it hurt. It still hurts to laugh actually because of my appendix.
Oh no. Okay.
It's good though. It's it's one of those good hurts.
Laughter heals, except your stitches. In preparation for the flight, A series of monitors and cables were surgically placed in and around Laika. You know about this. To monitor. This is method acting.
I don't remember that. I thought you were going to say in. Just inside, up in.
Yeah, literally surgically into her body.
Oh, yeah.
A series of monitors and cables were surgically placed in and around Laika to monitor her vital organs, circa 1957. So this is,
not
old
sterile.
ass technology.
That's what I worry. They put in some, device inside me that's monitoring. So
that's the vaccine.
That's the the 5G, baby. They could just monitor all the. I mean, but they're going heart. They're going blood pressure. They're going.
Heart, breathing, those kinds of things.
Spleen.
And it was live, which is crazy to think about in 1957 that they were live monitoring an individual inside of a capsule out in space.
From that distance,
1957.
Amazing.
On October 31st, Laika, Albina, the backup, and Mushka, the control dog, were transported to the... I'm going to have to look up this pronunciation.
Yeah, start back. Go back from the top there. Take it from the top. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Baikonur. I was kind of saying it right. Cosmodrome.
Baikonur Cosmodrome.
Russian, not Austrian.
What are you... Baikonur Cosmodrome.
And Laika took her place inside the padded, temperature-controlled rocket capsule. 2 people watched over her. Got a fruit fly in my throat.
Oh, no. We've landed.
2 people watched over her 24/7 as the final preparations were hurriedly finished on Sputnik 2, which was a substantial upgrade from its predecessor. Sputnik 2 was 13 feet tall, 6.5 feet wide. Hell yeah.
That's like free range.
I'm cowboy.
We're talking free range, dog.
6.5 feet wide, 1,000 pounds. Add to that the non-detachable rocket, which weighed in at 17,000 pounds.
Damn. And a jacuzzi. A video camera with 100 lines of resolution was installed to monitor Laika. 1957, y'all. Wow, 100 lines. We're at 1920 and 1080?
So, yeah, not far off. What's that?
It's not even yeah.
Substandard definition. That's suborbital definition.
It's thumbnail, or it's,
thumbnail image.
late night Snapchat filter.
On the morning of November 3rd, 1957, Laika was carefully groomed, and technicians kissed her and wished her happy travels before closing the capsule door.
How sweet. The final grooming. Full Brazilian.
For the electrodes and the probes.
Oh, man. What a sad... Because they must have loved that dog.
Sounds like it, with the coming home to play with the kids and the...
You think there was a moment where he was like, fuck it, I'm keeping Laika. I'm just going to keep...
Well, it's also Soviet Russia, so I don't think that... I don't think Khrushchev would have... when that got back to Khrushchev, you might find yourself...
Without any potatoes. Oh, what do we do? Oh, look at all these lights. Oh, this is exciting. Oh, there's my camera. Oh, whoa, they're putting the probes in. Ow, ooh, that's a little... That hurt. Okay, but I like these people. Oh, uh-oh, they're closing the door. Oh, hey guys. Let me out. Where are we going? Oh, ooh, it's cold in here. I miss ball. I miss the ball. It's gonna make me cry. Ooh, pretty. Let me have some space dog food. Chicken. That's good. Ooh, ooh. I am part wolf. And scene. Thank you. At DK Reinimer. Skits and bits.
Sputnik 2 launches into the sky. Laika's heart rate increases from 103 to 240 beats per minute. Once in orbit, the nose cone was successfully jettisoned. However, the Block A core was not, and this prevented the cooling system from working.
Yep.
Furthermore, some insulation had been torn off.
Not good.
Not good. This raised the capsule temperature to 104 degrees Fahrenheit.
Jesus, 104? That's like a sauna. No, that's not even. That's like a hot tub. Yeah, that's toasty, man. Especially inside.
For a time. It's really over time, I think.
Yeah.
3 hours into the journey, Laika's pulse finally settles back down to 102 beats per minute, taking 3 times longer than in training.
Yeah, classic. It always takes 3 times.
Nerves.
That's like a universal thing. It always takes 3 times longer than in practice.
Longer than in training.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why hockey has 3 sections, quarters. What are they called? Periods?
It's called a hockey field.
It's called. No, they have 3 periods. Did you know that?
No. It's the only sport where you're allowed to beat the shit out of someone. You don't get penalized. Well, technically you do, but they let you go a little bit.
That's kind of like, all right, well, they're still working it out. As long as they're standing, the blood can fly.
Apparently it is part of the game. It's something that the refs keep track of, the players keep track of.
Yeah.
You get checked, you get blasted into a couple times, a little too hard, a little too uncalled for. The refs keep an eye. They don't throw a penalty.
Yeah.
If you throw your gloves off and clock them, they keep an eye. You got 2 punches in. That's worth the 2 beats he got you. Okay, we're done. It literally is part of the game in some weird,
interesting,
in a weird official way.
It's just old school.
It's just how it goes.
Like the old school,
It's very Russian.
Yeah, very hockey.
It's potato.
It's the potato of sports.
Some food is eaten during this time. Your skit was very lifelike, I will say. I mean, you had it spot on.
What? Oh, thanks.
With the Laika,
thanks.
yeah, you had it on. Some food was eaten.
Some food was eaten. I'm a method, skitter.
Which was so encouraging and sad to think about, too. To think about this dog eating its gel protein in this little capsule, thinking like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Like,
I'm a good dog. I'm a good dog.
Yeah. Laika continues to float, weightless, inside the tiny capsule as the temperature is unable to be controlled.
Those little doggy legs flopping.
Yeah, it's in perpetual free fall if your orbit is correct, which they need a little battery to keep you from the Earth's gravity from pulling eventually, like when the batteries died, it eventually pulled Sputnik 1 back down to Earth. But you're basically, literally like if you jump off a cliff, you've jumped off the edge of the world and you've hit the right angle that you're just always falling around it. You're always falling.
Yeah, that's what Douglas.
That's the feeling.
That's what Douglas Adams says. If you want to know how to fly, all you got to do is fall and miss the ground.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. The space orbit anyway. That's literally what it is. You've just jumped off the world's biggest cliff.
It's huge. It's a huge. There's a bridge in Seattle. It's that I've jumped off of. It's pretty high. I don't know.
Within hours, there were no viable signs of life from the capsule.
Oof.
Laika would die on her journey.
And she's got another week left, and she's already dead.
She had little babies back home. They were supposed to be 7 days, and we're several hours in. That's it.
So it kept going. Laika was no more.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P.
Which unfortunately was always the plan. Soviet researchers knew Laika would not return safely to Earth, but they had prepared for several days of life with the cooling system, food delivery, and diaper. The final.
I don't know why the diaper. I guess they just don't want shit flying around, floating around the thing.
The piss and shit would have gotten into the instruments, which is why the food needed to be gel.
Yeah.
Adult modern day human astronauts wear diapers all the ding dong day, or certainly when they're spacewalking. I don't know if they have to wear inside of the thing, but
I imagine
they certainly have to go inside of a vacuum sealed diaper bag to use the bathroom. So
I think diapers are very important. A lot of important people wear them. Presidents have one wear them. Last president, I think.
Well, it's true. We don't want a diaper shame.
Yeah, no diaper shame. Powerful people wear diapers.
Like Laika.
Oh, I do like Laika.
Well, I just meant like as also in Laika.
I know you did.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Cut that out.
The final meal was poisoned in hopes to spare Laika the fate of suffocating or overheating inside the capsule.
Wow, really?
They tried. Yep.
So,
yep.
Did they have it in an order, I guess? Like, it wasn't like there's 7 bowls out, pick one of these is poisoned.
No, I'm assuming it was a my understanding is a food delivery system, probably some type of a device that
Yeah, like an
either
Uber
on a timer,
Eats or a Grubhub.
yeah, some sort of DoorDash, if you're familiar, whatever they had. I don't know what they had at the time, but whichever one they had at the time, probably Uber Eats. It's been around
Yeah,
for a
Uber.
while. No, but I'm
Oh no,
assuming
it
it
was
was some sort of a device that
Tuber
would,
Eats because they love potatoes. Tuber Eats.
for many years, until the 2000s, the true fate of Laika was hidden by the Russians. Perhaps too brutal and embarrassing to admit.
Fuck yeah.
The
I'd be
great,
embarrassed.
yeah.
We just shot a dog up and killed it in 2 days, and I mean that's terrifying.
The great follow-up to Sputnik being such a failure to science and to life. Yeah, and it was also like everybody knew about the dog because they had all this publicity beforehand because that's what they wanted and everything. But then they only faked it for another 9 days. They said because the thing didn't come back.
Yeah.
Laika was gone. So the fib
They kept going out and going,
the,
"Here, boy, come on, come
yeah,
on, Laika.
any minute now." To all the reporters. No, the short-term lie was that Laika made it to the 7 days.
Oh.
And then that Laika made it 9 days. And then Laika...
started an improv team on the moon.
that Laika had unfortunately passed, but that the mission was complete and blah, 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 and all this other stuff.
Old age.
Exactly what happened and how soon, and that it was basically a major malfunction
Right.
that killed the dog. And that was all hidden until the 2000s when the government finally, post-Soviet Union, finally unsealed some records.
Yeah. Can you see the footage? Because you said there's tapes.
There's a photo of the dog in the capsule right before launch, so you can see the size and Laika and the harness and the reference of how it's small.
Yeah.
You can, I don't know if there's footage of the launch because this would have been, maybe, but I don't know if that footage is available. I'm kind of being ignorant here. I'm going to delete it if there is, but I'm just going to go on a limb and say because it was such a top secret mission that might still be kept secret.
Yeah.
They waited till the 2000s to say, hey, the dog didn't die 9 days later. It died 1 day later.
How long did they
It's
wait?
an 8-day fib. Who the fuck cares about 8 days? Till the 2000s before people found out.
So
This is in
was
1957.
decades
They
later.
kept saying, no, the mission was successful. Laika made it 9 days, 3 days extra. Can you believe that? Wow, 3 more days than we planned for.
What a strong
how heroic.
Russian dog.
Yeah, what a great mission we did, and we got all this info and how brave, and then it was like, oh, actually it all fucked up and the dog died right away.
That's always. That's why I never trust anybody. I don't believe anyone. Or anything. It's always like, oh, it's 9 days with all this information. But no, it turns out they shit the bed at 2 days and, everything
Yeah.
disastrous.
That's it. That's the story.
Hey, that's it?
It's like,
oh, man. Laika, what a journey.
Put that in a play.
What a journey, huh? Wow.
No, but I started researching it and I didn't know that the dog died. But then, even before I got to the end, I was a couple sentences in and I was like, what do I expect? Do I really envision this dog landing in the ocean like it's the Tom Hanks in Apollo 13?
You can't imagine sending a dog to space. Oh, it's just going to come right back down.
Any final thoughts?
Is there any program... Are they still trying to send... I guess we've sent humans up, so why would they send dogs? But there
was one here. The very last one that I saw on the list was in 2007. In 2007, the first animal survives exposure to space.
Hey, Tom, shove that lizard out the window there and see if it survives. Hey, it did. Bring it back in.
I do know that they put tardigrades, those water bears, out into space and they survived.
Hey, let them ride, man. All right. The Matthew McConaughey of animal. Hey, man, look at all this space out here. It's cool, man. Just keep floating, So I don't know. I don't have any other questions, I guess. I'd be curious what they're doing with the, it's probably a museum and shit.
Probably. But, the space program in general slowed down a lot which is interesting. You think about that we were doing all this shit in 1957, 47, and now it's 2022 and people are like,
it's because we can make movies about it, so we don't need to actually go out there. I'm excited. I think we're alive in a really cool time, scary time, war and all this shit. But we're on the brink of some crazy science shit. I think.
Look at your appendix surgery,
dude. You kidding me? 10 years ago, they'd have been cutting me open with a steak knife and just reaching in there. Hey, I'm actually building a rocket, and I'll be sending a chicken. No, I'm writing another solo show. So I do have some online stuff. So Patreon / DK Ranimer, where I put up, just fun videos and sketches and sort of, you can follow my progress as an artist and creator. And I'm a touring comedian, or I was before the pandemic, and I will be again. Hopefully that things are opening up. At DK Ranimer on Twitter, I'm on all the things. I will be going to the Orlando Fringe Festival in May. So if any listeners are in Orlando, Florida, come on out. I'm doing a brand new solo show. It's like stand-up sketch, some improv called DK Fully Clothed. Oh, and I'll be in your movie. Fuck.
That's confidential. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I'm working with I was in a big time movie. I can't say much about it.
You can reach out at historysajokepodcast at gmail.com. We are on Instagram at historysajokepod. You can find us online at lavenderfingerproductions.com.
There's 4 characters. Here's the setting, and go. I'm gonna vape. For the listeners, by the way, while I was doing that whole thing, Zach was sitting there, he pulled out a vape and is just like hitting it real hard. Full on 4 character sketches, and he's just, yeah, that's good. Keep it up. Keep doing the jokes.
History is a Joke podcast is supported by listeners like you. Find us on Venmo at History's a Joke.